Hello, Algebra 1. This is Mr. Sanders. So I wanted to make this quick video. This video is a video you should watch before you do the mid-chapter quiz. I've already reviewed with 6th and 7th period face-to-face, and now I wanted to do a quick video recap for you over the mid-chapter quiz. I am on page 246, and this is a sample of the mid-chapter quiz, so your quiz will be very similar to it. If by chance I can find a version of the quiz that is all multiple choice, then I will use that. If not, it will look like the format that I am about to go over now. So what I'm going to do is just select some problems from each section so you can have a working example. And if you look at this, yes, it has all the answers to it because I want you to see these answers. And so you can have this as a reference because remember, he who knows the answer will always have a job, but he who knows why the answer is the answer will always be the boss. So understanding why is way more important than just having an answer. So let's go to number one. It says write an equation in slope-intercept form for each one. Well, I want to first of all explain to you that slope-intercept form looks like this. It looks like, there we go, y equals mx plus b. Okay, so if that is the case, I'm looking at this picture and I'm trying to ask myself, how can I write an equation in slope-intercept form? Well, what you can do is if I look at this line, there is a point that's right here, and that point is located at 0, 7. So that tells me that is the y-intercept. So I know already just from looking at the graph that the slope, the y-intercept is 7. The next thing I'm going to do is see can I make some right triangles with pretty points. So if I'm looking again, I can see that there's a very pretty point that's right here. That is -1, 2. So I'm just going to make a point here. And that point is -1, 2. So if that's the case, I can take 0, 7, and -1, -2. I'm sorry, -2, +1, comma, +1. And I can get the slope from that. So I can take these 2 points and get the slope. So what do I mean by that? I am going to take my graphing calculator and I'm going to do a linear regression. I'm going to take that 0, 7 and that -2, +1 and see if I can find the slope from it. So here I go, stat, enter. I'm going to insert my data. First, I'm going to hit clear to make all of this disappear. Clear, hit down the arrow. Now, I'm going to put in 0, enter, arrow over, +7, because that first point of the y-intercept, that's what it was. The next point I saw on the graph, it had -2, enter, and it had +1. All right, and so there you're going to see me going with the graph. And so when I do that, oops, I have some equations in here. Not a graph. I don't know why I said graph, but I'm glad I saw that to get rid of. Now I'm going to go stat, calc, option 4. That's my linear regression. Hit enter 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there I see what my slope is and I see what my y-intercept is. So that means my equation should be y equals 3x plus 7. And so you would do this number 2 the exact same way. Let me move on to this next section. This says 3 through 4, see chapter 4, answer appendix of the graph. So no worries about that because we can graph or know what the graph should be. It says graph each equation, then state the slope and the y-intercept. Just looking at this equation, because it's in slope-intercept form, I know that the number in front of x, the coefficient of x, is 2, and that means that that is the slope. The m represents the slope. And then the number or the constant that's in the equation, that's my y-intercept. So I know the slope is 2, the y-intercept is 3. I stated that, and then they would want you to graph it. So how could I graph it? Let me just give you a quick example, just to show you. Since the y-intercept is 3, I know it's going to touch the y-axis at +3. So let's just say that's +3 right there. Next, I know what the slope is. The slope is 2. So 2 is the same thing as 2 over 1. So that means from any given point, I'm going to rise 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to run 1. So I know where my next point is going to be. It's going to be right here. And then I would do the same thing. Rise 2, run one, make another point. So if I were graphing, it would be super easy to do. Okay. All right, now, so that takes care of that section. Here is a problem situation, which is perfect for us because it says write an equation in slope intercept form. That's this form again. So, and I'm looking at this poster. And so let me grab this poster really quick so you can see it. Here we go. Okay, so it says this. It says this pontoon boat rides, they charge $75 per hour. So I immediately know if that's the multiplier per, that means this 75 is the slope, and this extra fee, that is the y-intercept. And we remember this from 8th grade pre-algebra, that that's got to be my y-intercept or my additional amount. So what would that equation look like? C equals, and this time we're going to use t instead of x, so we're going to do 75 times t, and then the additional amount of money is 30. So that supports that answer. C equals 75t plus 30. Voila, there you have it. All right, next, I'm moving on to the next problem. Let's see what this section is about. Let's see here. Okay, so these problems, it says write an equation of a line with the given conditions. Okay, they give you a point and it looks like they're giving you the slope. So for this section, if they do that, what are you going to do? We have another equation that we've been working with in this chapter. It's called the point slope formula. It is y minus y1 equals m times the quantity of x minus x1. Okay. So all you're going to do is simply take the point, substitute it in the formula, take the slope, substitute it in the formula. So here we go. Y minus my y1 is 5 equals, the slope is 3. So I'm going to replace my m with the 3. Sorry about this 3. I know it looks raggedy, y'all. I'm sorry. Let me go to my mouse here because I'm using my pad on my Apple laptop here. So now let's see, that looks a lot better. Okay, so there's my slope, and then x minus x1, and my x1 is a 2. So I'm going to do x minus a 2, positive 2. So now I have it, and now what I'm going to do is, there it is in point slope form. I'm just going to go ahead and simplify that by using the distributive property to break the parentheses. So now I have y minus 5 equals 3x minus 6. All right, and so now, now I'm going to simplify that by collecting my like terms. So I am going to add 5 to each side. So plus 5 plus 5 like that. And the 5s will eliminate each other. So now I'm left with y equals, and there you have it, 3x and minus 6 and a plus 5 is a minus 1. All right, so that's how that works. So you'll use the point slope formula for this situation. Here I see they give you 2 points. So what could you do? You could go back to your graphing calculator, and I'm referring to problem number 8. You could go back to your graphing calculator and just simply do a linear regression. Stat, enter your data for each of those 2 given points, and then you're just going to go stat, calc, option 4, and you'll be off to the races with that. So when I go back and look at problem number 8, there's no worries for me because I can do a linear regression. Here's a point, here's the slope, and the equation simplifies to y equals 1. That means the x's there are eliminated because they're probably being multiplied by 0. And so you just get this constant function, y equals 1. That's on a horizontal line when you graph it. All right, moving right along. And so the talking you hear in the background, that is I am in my algebra class right now. And so they're just studying for the test, just like you're studying and getting yourself together for this mid-chapter quiz. So let's look at number 11. Write an equation of a line that passes through a point 0, 0 and has a slope of -4. So what does that mean for you? That means you're going to use the point slope formula, which is here. So this particular problem, you will put all your information in there. You will put 0 here and a 0 here and your slope here. And you will work that out and you will see what your answer is. And so the best answer for this would be C. So once you put your 0 and your slope inside of here, it will simplify to C equals -4x. You're done. All right, next, write the equation of a line in point slope form. That's this form for the line that passes through each point with a given slope. So they're giving you a point and they're giving you a slope. So that means definitely you're going to use your point slope formula, put the numbers in and go to work. So I'll just do another one here just to support you. So let's say I go with this piece. I'm working rule. So let's do number 12. So number 12, I see the x and y is 1 and 4 and the slope is 6. So here I would replace the y value with a 4. Here I'm going to replace that x value with a 1. So I'm going to have y minus 4 equals 6 times the quantity of x minus, and my x1 is 1, and then close parentheses. So there it is, all set up nice and friendly. And so now I can see what that equation is, and so I can start making moves. I can see that it's y minus 4, and I'm looking here, there it is, y minus 4 equals 6 times the quantity of x minus 1. So it is supported there, so that proves the answer, that x is equal to y minus 4 equals 6. So this one, they did not eliminate the parentheses because I guess they wanted you to just leave it in point slope formula so they can see what the points and the slope, what they are. Okay, so that takes care of that section. So number 13 works just like number 12. Let's go see number 14. Write an equation in point slope form. So they want it in this form again. That passes through, they give you a point and they give you a slope. You go write it in and voila, you get the same thing. Okay, I do want to talk about this piece where it says write this equation in standard form. So I think this is important. So what I want to do is I want to take a snapshot of this. And I am going to go to Ziteboard so you can see me work this, because I think this is worth me taking some time out to do for my virtual group. Okay, let's see. I want to reconnect this piece. Okay, I'm just waiting for it to download the picture. There it is. Okay, I do want to do this. So to write an equation in standard form, I just want to show you what standard form, what it really looks like. So I'm going to use my Ziteboard to model that standard form on your formula chart. It's going to say, oops, I have it on using squares right now. And I better erase that. And here we go. Standard form is when you have the x's on the same side. So on your formula chart, you're going to see this formula: ax plus by equals c. And the only reason why you see a, b, and c, they're talking about the coefficients of x and y, the numbers, the integers that are the rational numbers that are in front of x and in front of y, and then c is that constant. So when I look at this equation right now, it looks or appears to be in point slope form. We want to write it in standard form. That means we want to make it look like this, where the x's and y's are on the same side of the equal sign, whether it's on the left or the right. We want the x's and y's together. All right. And preferably, I would want my a to be a positive number, and I would like for it not to have a fraction. So if I do see a fraction, you'll see me at some point in time eliminate that fraction by multiplying by the common denominator. So here we go. I'm going to take this equation And the first thing I'm going to do is distribute the 1/2 so I can eliminate the parentheses. So 1/2 times x, and then 1/2 times this -5. So here we go. 1/2 x minus, and 1/2 times that -5. You can call it 2.5. You can call it 5/2. I'm choosing to call it 5/2. 1/2 of 5 is 5/2. Okay, and then on this side of my equation, I still have y plus. Sorry about that y if it looks kind of crappy. How to clean that up. Okay. All right, next. So almost reaching my goal. Now, my goal is to get the x's and the y's on the same side, and I want to keep the coefficient of x positive. So since that's positive 1/2, I don't want to subtract this from each side because then it would turn negative. But I do want to take this y and move it to the other side. So when I do that, the y's eliminate. Now I get 3 is equal to 1/2 x minus y. And then the last thing I have is this minus 5/2. All right. All right. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to get rid of this 5/2. So I'm just going to add the opposite of 5/2, which is plus 5/2. And on this side, plus 5/2. And now let me pull my Ziteboard up a little bit. Go back to blue. Okay, so what happens here? 5/2 plus 3 is 11/2. So this equals 11/2, and you can double check me with your calculator. Some of y'all may have 5.5, which is totally fine with Mr. Sanders. And here we still have 1/2 x, and now minus y, because remember these two are 0 pairs, they go away. So now I'm perfect with this. This is in standard form, but most mathematicians would prefer the x value, the number or the coefficient of x, to be an integer, some type of integer. So I want to get rid of the fraction. Well, what do I do to get rid of a fraction? Multiply by the common denominator. So I'm going to multiply every single term by the common denominator. So that means I'm going to multiply 11/2 by 2. I'm going to multiply 1/2 by 2. I'm going to even multiply this minus 2y by 2. And let's see what we get. When I finish, these eliminate, so that leaves me with 11. And then next, hey, I know, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. These 2's, they eliminate, so that leaves you with 1x. And then here, you're going to have minus 2y. So my equation is 11 equals x minus 2y. So I wanted you to see that and wanted you to see how Mr. Sanders is working that and the thought pattern behind standard form. So that's writing an equation in standard form where the x's and y's are on the same side and my coefficient of x is some positive integer. If it's a fraction, just multiply by the common denominator, it's gone. All right, next. Number 16 says write y plus 4 equals -7 times the quantity of x minus 3 in slope-intercept form. Well, here, to be in slope-intercept form, you just want the y by itself. So that means you're going to break the parentheses and then just solve for y. That means eliminate everything and get the y all by itself. And so you'll see the solution says y equals -7x plus 17. And I think you can work from there. All right, let me go back to the review. So now if I go to the review, I have just answered, where is that question at? Here, 15 and 16. I've kind of talked about those. I want to look at 17 through 18 and see. Writing in standard form, I did an example of that here. So we should be okay with 17. You're writing that in standard form, both of these. You're going to do it the same way I modeled number 15. Write each equation in slope-intercept form. That means you're going to get the y by itself. Just break parentheses and solve for y, and this should be your solution. I think there's no problem. All right, the next thing we need to talk about is this piece, the perpendicular, parallel and perpendicular lines. And I had a talk with um, my face-to-face class about this, and I want to talk with you all about this as well. We said when lines are parallel, that the slopes should be the same. So that means if I'm looking at this first equation, that coefficient of x is -6. So that means when I find the slope of this second equation, if it's parallel, that slope should be -6 as well. If it's perpendicular, that means that slope should be the reciprocal of 6, which is 1/6, and it should have an opposite sign. So it would be positive 1/6. That's how I know it's perpendicular. That was from my lesson of parallel and perpendicular lines. If I don't get either of those answers, then I would answer, hey, neither. So this answer says F parallel. Let's go ahead and see why. So I'm just gonna make some room for us right quick. I'm gonna erase some of this stuff, and we're gonna get to work to see if we can prove why F is the correct answer. And then we'll move forward and finish up this review for you. I hope I'm not burning up too much of the clock. We will see just a few. I'm doing fairly well with time with this class. All right, here we go. So I know this first equation, the slope is -6. So now I'm going to go with the second equation. How can I get the slope from it? I taught this to you all last year. If you're new to the class, to my Algebra 1, let me give you our secret. When you see an equation written in standard form, and what is standard form? It is ax plus by equals c. So I'm going to go ahead and write that right here. Ax plus by equals c. All right, to get the slope when it's in standard form, here is my trick for you. I said you could write a over b with negativity. Okay, to get that's how you get the slope, and so that's all we need is to really look at the slope. So that means my a would be a 3, my b would be 1/2, and whatever this answer is, I want to make sure it's the opposite sign. That's where my negativity is going to come from. So I'm going to go to my trusty TI-84. And I'm going to put that in. 3 divided by 1/2, and I know I'm going to have negativity. So let me just stretch this out so you see me in action. I'm going to clear my screen here. Second mode. So alpha y equals option 1, 3 divided by, and then I'm going to go alpha y equals option 1, because this actually divided by 1/2. So 1/2. And then we said we want to add some negativity to it. So I'm just going to put a negative sign right there. So what does that equal to? Let's see. Hit enter. Uh-huh. So I know what that equals to when I divide it out. It equals to -6. So if that is -6, then here's what we have. Let me go back to this. If we have -6, that means these two slopes are the same. So the second equation has a slope that's equal to -6. Well, if the slopes are the same, that means they are parallel. So that supports this answer of F. All right, next. When I go to this last section, it says write an equation in slope-intercept form of a line that passes through a given point and is perpendicular. So when they say it's perpendicular, that means you're looking for an equation where the slope is going to be the reciprocal and the opposite sign. So let's just do one for an example. Here I'm looking at 3, -4, and the equation that they give me is y equals -1/3 x minus 5. So I already know if they're perpendicular, this slope needs to be the reciprocal of -1/3, and the sign should be the opposite. So the reciprocal of 1/3 is 3, and the opposite sign should be positive. So I already know that my slope for my new line should have a +3. And that's what you see here. Next, how do they get the y-intercept? Well, let's see. Well, how can I come up with my equation? Because now I have a point and I have a slope. What could I use if I have a point and I have a slope? I could use the point slope formula. Okay, guys, so that means you have to use the point slope formula. So that the point slope formula is y minus y1 equals m times quantity of x minus x1. So you're going to take that x and that y, put it in your point slope formula. You're going to take the slope, put it in there, and voila, you shall have your equation. So I do want to do problem number 22 just to make sure that I cover that. I want to do my due diligence for it. So let's go ahead and get into that piece. Let me make some space down here. Okay, here we go. So point slope formula, I am going to write y minus my y1, which is negative 4, equals my slope, which my slope is, we agreed that that would be 3 because 3 is the reciprocal of this and it's the opposite sign. So 3 times the quantity of x minus my x1 value, which is positive 3. Like that. All right, now y minus negative 4 is the same thing as y plus 4. Keep change. Equals here, I'm going to use the distributive property, so that's 3x minus 9. All right, now, after that, I'm going to subtract 4 from each side. So if I minus 4 to each side, that would be, let me do a different color, so just to show you that minus 4 because I'm running out of room. Minus 4 right here, and minus 4 right here. And so the 4s will eliminate right there. So that leaves me with y equals 3x, and a minus 9 and a minus 4 is a minus 13. So this supports that answer. Okay. All right, so that's my recap of this review. Like I said, today I'm going to pull the test and see. I'm going to try to do one that's multiple choice if it's available. If not, it will be in this format where it's open-ended. But I want to make sure I work each type of question to support you. That's all I have for you guys. Good luck to you on the quiz that we're going to do tomorrow. So make sure you watch this video first. I'll probably have something in Schoology that says watch this first before you take this quiz. Okay. Bye-bye. Have a good one. Happy